Holy shit, what a blast from the past. Oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe this? I just got back from seeing Toy Story in theaters for its 30th anniversary to be in theaters. After nearly 30 years since my brother and I first saw this on the big screen when we were about like 5 or 4 years old. Oh my gosh, it feels so good to relive it. Especially when I went to go see this as an adult, just to see what it was like to relive my childhood. And the fact that I do enjoy Toy Story a lot. And I do consider it one of my top 10 favorite Disney Pixar movies of all time. Although, there was something about this movie that kind of drew me off a little bit when I looked at it as an adult. But it's not too much of a big deal, and it's just only a minor nitpick, but I'll get to that in a moment. Oh my gosh, reliving and watching this is just like bringing something back from the past. I'm so glad Disney actually managed to do this. There wasn't that many people that actually see this movie in theaters, and I was actually there. I was just like quoting and just memorizing so much of the words I remember from this movie. I just loved every bit of it, especially for how the way the story is so much character driven. It's kind of like something you see like the old versus the new. Allow me to demonstrate on something about this. Let's just say we all were young children at one time, and we all grew up having a favorite toy. But what happens when a new one actually comes and replaces the old one? I'm pretty sure many of you guys have actually had that happen before. You know, one minute you're playing the PlayStation, and next thing you know, you're just playing Xbox 360. You're looking at some kind of Barbie doll you used to have, and then suddenly you go to Monster High, and, you know, it's all good. I just love how it just goes from the Western vibe of Woody and the actual sci-fi Buzz Lightyear. As a matter of fact, so much I can say about the characters, it's just really great. I just love what they were actually doing at first, even if this was directed by an actual good director and future woman harasser. But I have to admit, what they did for their first Pixar attempt movie, I just love every last bit of it. Especially when you got Woody, who's just like an old cowboy pull-string doll, who is somewhat the leader of the actual Toy Story while sticking together, while also having a bit of an ego to act like he's the hotshot so much of the room. However, when Buzz Lightyear actually comes in on the scene, that's when he develops a bit of jealousy, as this is the first time his position actually feels like he got threatened. I know that Woody can be so much a bit of a jerk, but you know, he does have a heart and he does want what's best for everyone. Thinking about so much about what he was in this movie, if you kind of think about the history about it, I think they could have made it so much worse. And you can thank Jeffrey Katzenberg for that.
I'm sorry, Woody, but I have to agree with them. I don't think what you did was right.
What? Am I hearing correctly? You don't think I was right? Who said your job was to think, Spring Wiener?
Well, I just thought that
use this vast reserve of brain power to consider this for a moment. If it wasn't for me, Andy wouldn't pay any attention to you at all. In fact, my sketchy friend, you would have been hauled away to Goodwill a long time ago, so shut your mouth and get them off the bed. Do it. Now.
As for Buzz Lightyear, I gotta admit, he's one of my favorite characters, so much of it. The only problem with this guy, him being a brand new toy, he kind of thinks like he's the real Space Ranger, giving Woody an extra obstacle to get him grounded into reality before he does anything crazy, or in this case, stupid.
I alone have information that reveals this weapon's only weakness. And you, my friend, are responsible for delaying my rendezvous with Star Command.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure!
And one part of the movie, when Buzz Lightyear is actually in Sid's house, and when he gets a call from Star Command, which is actually an actual Buzz Lightyear commercial, that kind of made it realize to make Buzz open his eyes to actually see to make sure that he's a toy and he's not actually a Space Ranger, which kind of devastates both me and him at the time. Because what the scene I consider is when Woody and Buzz are actually chatting about how their personalities and their most like dynamics and their actually more character depth, or what Woody has been through, and the fact that he gives Buzz an extra bit of points for about it.
I'm just a toy, a stupid little insignificant toy.
Whoa, hey, wait a minute. Being a toy is a lot better than being a Space Ranger.
Yeah, right.
No, it is.
As for much of the other characters, we do get more of these characters later on with the sequels, and trust me, there was no reason for them to do a fourth Toy Story. And I still remember half the characters. You got the nervous Rex, the loyal Slinky Dog, the smart aleck Camp, the cynical Mr. Potato Head, and the caring Bo Peep. Although the Little Green Army Man, I actually really enjoyed these characters. But then you actually have so much the human characters. So much the human characters, they kind of look a little bit rigid, and some of the CG is a little bit dated. I mean, have you seen how the way they actually made the baby an actual tin toy in a short... Holy shit, that thing was a nightmare to me when I first watched it. But at least compared to Molly, she doesn't look nothing like she's an actual goblin compared to that. I know this was the first CG that they actually tried. Just keep that in mind that this was their first attempt for it. So as technology evolves, they actually pretty much evolve so much the character, especially when you look at them, how they actually did it perfect in Toy Story 3. And to be fair, I actually thought Sid's dog was a horrible experiment that actually gone wrong. So being as an adult as I was as a kid, I still muchly enjoyed this movie so much. And it still holds up as a classic in its own Pixar. And I'm really happy that it actually got Pixar so much the highlights about them making more movies. Although very loosely that they should have never done a fourth or a fifth Toy Story. That is not a joke, by the way. Besides the point, I think the first one starts things off a little bit before you can actually watch the second and third one. But however, the first one feels like it was more on Buzz Lightyear, while the second one feels like it's more of Woody's story. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that when you guys see the movie to believe him. I still love this movie. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it on my list, but hopefully I can actually do a video on my top favorite Disney Pixar movies. And I cannot think of any way to recommendation for this movie. Just go see it for yourself and you'll actually have a good time. And while you're at it, you can actually introduce some of the kids if you actually have kids of your own. Just let them get into the experience about what it is like to be a toy. And also, I forgot to mention in this review that somehow this actually tells a story about so much of the toys of when they come to life when no humans are around. Although it wasn't the first time that they actually did it. So how did this actually become an actual movie? Well, I'm not exactly sure how they explain it so much to you guys, but you know, I'll destroy every last bit of it without questioning too much of the logic about it. And I'm so grateful they did the casting choice right too, because originally Jim Carrey was actually supposed to be in this movie as either Woody or Buzz, who I'm not pretty so much clear about and too sure about. But you know what? I think they went through the nice decision with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as the two leads. And I pay so much good respect to it. I still got some of the toys that were actually from the movie from nearly 30 years, and it still is actually good as solid gold as Disney Pixar's highlight. Just watch the movie for yourself, and you will see how good of a movie this actually turns out to be.